Hi and welcome to Podpadstudios, episode 24.
Woo, 24, yay.
Are we going to have a party at 25?
Any excuse? Maybe another owl party.
Anyway, this episode is all about fundraising.
Yeah, fundraising is really, really important for a lot of the events we go to. In fact, some of them are started purely and simply to do fundraising.
Yeah.
For example, Feel the Force.
It's one of the best shows, I think, that we've ever attended. I mean, we've attended some brilliant shows, don't get me wrong, but Feel the Force is kind of humbling in that it's got really, well,
it's got
the
great
history
roots.
of it is amazing.
I mean, the story behind it is that the person that started it was a carer, and he was caring for someone who was deaf and blind and had to communicate by touching their fingers. And one day, this person communicated to him, what does a Wookiee feel like? And he realised that if you're disabled, you experience the world in a very different way. And Feel the Force was set up to actually allow for disabled people to be able to enjoy a Comic Con.
We built one of our props, the steamer. We was actually created for that show because it's a complete tactile experience.
That's right. It's got braille all over it. And I remember when we were at Feel the Force, I was watching a blind lady, and her hands were so fast. Her hands moved at the same speed as we would look at something. It's really nice building something knowing that everyone can access it. Yeah. It's not just, you're not just catering for a small market. Yeah. Anybody with whatever walk of life and whatever disability can actually appreciate it. It was really nice. It's a brilliant show. Feel the Force is cool because the carers get in for free. Yeah. And there's lots of facilities, like there's a quiet room, and they give you lots of people to help you go around if you've got issues with your wheelchair, what have you. It's just brilliant. It's just set up for people, so well set up. Anyway, why are we sat here in a cafe? Oh, in the cafe. Yeah, we're in the cafe because this is one of the charities that we support at Podpadstudios. We do 5 free events a year, and this is Olive Tree Cafe. And they serve a mean coffee cake. They serve a mean coffee cake, but also they're a local charity in Swindon that's set up to help people who have got mental health issues and can't work, and they allow these people to get back into work and train them and support them so that they can get back into the workforce. So it's a really worthwhile charity that we wholly support. Yeah, we've supported them. We've done lots of events here. So we've had batmobiles here, we had the steamer here, we've had the spider here. We've had the smart car, the Back to the Future car. We've had the A-Bug, the Mad Max one for a Halloween event, that was, wasn't it? Oh, that was a brilliant event. Yeah. And everyone came dressed up. Yeah, it's brilliant. They're really, really cool events. But you know, so we love Olive Tree Cafe, and we also support them by regularly having tea here. Tea and coffee cake, yeah. And speaking of vehicles, our next guest is Tony. Yeah, with Barricade. It's a wonderful Barricade. Now, you caught up with him this summer, didn't we? We did. We caught up with him at the Animal Farm Park. Hi guys, I'm here with Tony and the marvellous Barricade. And as you can see, huge transformer at the back here. Oh yes. So Tony, thanks ever so much for talking to us. Yeah, no problem. We just wondered, what got you into this? Why did you start? Obviously you're a collector. Yeah, well the thing is, the car is actually based off Steve McQueen, so that's what got me to buy the car first of all. Yeah. And then obviously Transformers came along in 2007. Right. And Barricade happened to be a Mustang. Ah, okay. So it was a bit of a no-brainer really to change it over the last couple of years into what it is now. Yeah. And you've been to a lot of events. We see you at a lot of events. Yeah, worked with you guys a lot. What did you tell me earlier? How much money you think you've raised through charity events taking Barricade? Over the last 6 years with this, the last count was about 148,000 over 6 years. But that's not off my own back, that's with working with people like yourself and other events. Yeah, and of course you're part of Silver Screen Cars. Yes, working with those as well, yeah. So guys, we're going to tell you a bit more about Silver Screen at a later edition. And they've got a fabulous collection of cars, a group of enthusiasts really who like going out raising money for charity. Yeah, that's why we did it in the first place. Yeah. And I think it's just great. I suppose for you, it's just to see like all the people coming and looking at the car and seeing it. And I mean, if you ask any of them, we'll all say the same sort of thing. We all do it for this particular reason. And do you want to show us some of your robots? I think you've got some customers here. Thanks, Tony. That was a brilliant interview. And Tony's part of a group that we're members of too, called Silver Screen Cars. Yeah. So this is a group of people that have replica film cars. And it's just they're collectors really. They go around the country raising, most of them, huge amounts of money for charity, to be honest. Like Tony. Tony does, yeah. It's a brilliant group of people to be with. Hopefully over the next few weeks we'll get a few interviews with people and their cars from Silver Screen. We'll feature them on the shows. Now,
we can't really run a show about fundraising without mentioning the granddaddy of fundraising.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, Mr. Ady Davies. It's all Ady's fault. Now, basically, Ady he's got me started in this game. I was building droids and Daleks and taking them around the country and raising money for charity, and eventually that kind of almost developed into Podpadstudios.
Yeah.
Now, we interviewed Ady on the first Dalek Obsession show, because obviously he built Daleks many, many years ago. But we also caught up with him on, to be honest, a beautiful summer's day, wasn't it? Yeah, and we sat in the garden and we had a chat about how he formed Charity Sci Fi.
Have a look at this. Hi guys, I'm here as part of our Meet the Organiser series, and this is Ady from Charity Sci Fi. And I have to say that Ady is probably responsible for most of Master Maker's Dalek building, his droid building, and also going out to events, the obsession with that. Thanks, Ady.
That's okay.
There's probably quite a few other people as well, aren't there, that would have been highly influenced by your
Obsession is all I can say.
I don't think it's an obsession. I think it's the fact I can't do anything by halves. So if something is worth doing, it's worth doing properly, but I don't know when to stop.
So you keep doing it.
And that sort of spreads to other people. So it's not really my fault. It's the fact that I find a weakness and work on it.
So Charity Sci-Fi then? I mean, we met, how many years ago now?
Oh, gosh.
I've forgotten how many years ago.
10,
over 10 years ago, yeah. And I can't even remember whether or not I found you or you found me. It's probably you found me, actually.
I think you found us.
I honestly
You
cannot
were doing
remember.
the blogs. He was doing his blogs.
Well, I'd built an R2D2, but I hadn't built any Daleks. And I remember the very first mobile droid I created, Emmy, went to Corsham Sci Fi, which was the very first event that she ever went to. Now, but you started Corsham Sci Fi, didn't you? So why did you start that?
That started with a bit of a discussion with the school. I spoke to the Corsham Community Centre, as it was then, and did another event to complete the project. And it was intended to be just the one event.
7 large shows later.
Well, I think the main thing that hit me was the amount of money for charity raised, but just on one day.
Yeah,
Whereas a lot of the others, they go for like whole weekends and whatever, and they still do a fraction of the kind of money that you did. But it was that one day, wasn't it? The support was amazing, and the numbers were brilliant.
The help I got from the celebrities, costume groups, and everything. I'm still humbled now, whether it's and I don't know whether it's my personality or my stupidity, that people did so much, and we were getting to the point where we were raising, I think it was £6,500–7,000 in one day, and that's purely out of a huge amount of people's kindness and the reputation that Corsham Sci-Fi got. You get people like Dave Prowse turning up for no fee whatsoever.
And signing, and then that's a draw, because that draws people.
I remember that. People talked about it because it was so well organised, and the atmosphere was brilliant. People talked about it they almost aspired to it, didn't they? They always said, like, that is amazing, we want to run our events as well as that.
It got to the point that even now I'm asked when I'm going to organise another event. And I've got to be honest, I don't think that's ever going to happen because I like living.
I think also it was the kind of the roadmap to lots of other ones.
It was like an ideal way
because
of
at the time
there
were Comic Cons, but there weren't that many. And then as it went on, I do remember as Corsham went on, all of a sudden they were coming up all over the places, weren't they? And then
so how much altogether do you think you raised?
With Corsham Sci-Fi alone, I would say probably £25,000.
And then you did a lot of other events just out at supermarkets collecting the collecting pots on the Daleks.
Yeah, with that and
that's massive over the
I
years.
do a lot of work with the Charity Dalek Squad. I helped Terry organise that as well. Terry Smith started the Charity Dalek Squad. An amazing group of
nutters.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys.
Because they had a big influence at the Fleet Air Arm, didn't they?
Yeah, the Fleet Air Arm Museum was the one I then went on.
Dalek Invasion? Sorry, Dalek Invasion.
Yeah,
it was
the
called,
Dalek Invasion. Yeah. Then I did the. I finally convinced them after a while that just doing Doctor Who, they were missing a lot of customers. So I did 2 Sci Fi events at the museum, and then they had a change of staff and a change of direction, and it stopped for everybody. But they were making thousands of pounds. I think in total I've assisted in or been responsible for raising over £120,000.
Completely amazing. So tell us a little bit about the guests. You must have had some fab guests over the years, and they all did it for free, which was brilliant.
Yeah, again, so lucky, and I can't understand how. A little kiddie that was brought up in one of the roughest areas in Wiltshire is
meeting all the stars.
You know, doing this sort of thing. One of my favourite all-time guests was Debbie Watling. She was totally amazing, lovable person, but they're all really, really nice people. John-Jules, and Chris Barry. My daughter's friend was coming down with her brother who was autistic, and their car broke down, and obviously if something goes wrong when somebody's autistic, it's the end of the world. Traumatic. It goes nuclear.
Yeah.
Danny and Chris phoned him up to talk to him on the side of the motorway,
how cool
so that he would calm down and everything else.
Fabulous people.
Chris Barry opening the one of the events where we were using the sports centre.
That was do you know, I have to interrupt you there. That is my favourite moment in any sci-fi event, in any Comic Con, and we've done hundreds of them. Can I tell that story? I love it because
I'll finish it off.
It was the fact that we were in this area and there was a sports centre nearby. So basically, Chris Barry, I think he was on a break or something like that, walked through to the sports centre, and if you know Chris Barry, Mr. Britas, from that show. And I think the guys in the sports centre didn't even know it was going to happen. He went behind the counter and suddenly he was Mr. Britas. And it was so good. We were just in hysterics. And people were walking into the sports centre to go swimming and doing things, and Mr. Britas was standing behind that. It was so good.
And you made that happen.
Yeah.
He went back a little bit later on and answered a phone call from one of the public.
It was unbelievable. I'll never, ever forget that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ady. That was actually a brilliant interview. And don't forget, if you're a Dalek owner, we need your videos in for the 30-second challenge. We need them in by the 1st of December. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, then have a look a couple of videos ago, because we explain it all thoroughly. We're looking for videos of Daleks and their owners, especially to promote the gathering, which is happening in November next year.
Really, really important. If you know a Dalek owner, if you are a Dalek owner, please, 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 please get involved. It is really, really important to support these guys.
Fab video with lots and lots of Dalek owners and their Daleks in it.
Yeah. So
talking about events.
Yeah, no. To be honest, it's kind of depressing, I suppose, in that we haven't been out at events, and mainly because there aren't any, or at least there aren't any that we can get to because of COVID and everything that's going on, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. No. Anytime soon.
And we've got loads of new props. People keep asking when can they see them.
So we've got the dragons, the new dragons and the witch carriage and all that kind of stuff.
Dread bike, we're going to update you on in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, so the Dread bike is, to be perfectly honest, it's coming along really, really well. And watch the show, because you're going to see how we take a prop from an idea right the way through to a final concept, which is really good. We've got a brand new top secret superhero vehicle. I'll give you a little bit of a clue.
Only a few people have seen that.
A few people have seen it, yeah.
Not many.
And then obviously we've got another venture which is interesting, something that we're moving forwards into, and right now we're just going to sort of throw it out there and give you a little bit of a hint. Would you be interested in coming along and seeing our props in, instead of you going to a Comic Con, would you be interested in coming to us to see the workshops, to see the studios?
Yeah, and all of the props.
All of the props.
How would you like it? Answers below, please, in the comments.
Put them in the comments
what do you think, guys?
If that's something you might be interested in doing, because it's a little venture we're thinking of.
A little bit of mystery there, intrigue.
Yeah.
And that's it for this show.
Yeah.
So please subscribe and just hit that bell. Ding! Oh. No, not a tinger, this one. No. Anyway,
it's going to be drunk all the tea, that's why. Yeah.
Bye.